Hey guys, welcome back to this brand new series that we have started called Daring Faith. Not just faith, Daring Faith. Today is the fifth lesson of our series. Through Daring Faith, we will learn how we can be people of faith. God is pleased to see people of faith like you and me. God goes, yes, whenever he sees a person of faith. So, there was a man whose name was Moses. He led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. So Moses is going to be our daring faith champion for today. In our previous lessons, we've seen how people were able to cross through a flooding river. Now, yes, they had a lot of faith. That is why they were able to cross a river. But today, we will take Moses and the Israelites and a big army and we will help them cross a sea. Now, a sea is a lot more bigger, deeper, and wider as compared to a river. So, when you need to cross a sea, you need to have a lot more faith, and not just faith. You know what I mean. All right, so now listen up. Moses, Israelites, and they're followed by an army from Egypt who are trying to stop them. Moses is leading the people to out of Egypt so that they can go to the promised land, a place that God wants them to go. But in front of them is a big challenge. There is a sea. There is a huge sea, and they can't go forward, and there is an army behind them trying to stop them. So God tells Moses, here's what you have to do, Moses. Lift up your staff and stretch your hand over the sea. As soon as Moses did what God asked him to do, the water stopped and a path opened up right in the middle of the sea. The Israelites were able to walk and cross the sea through a dry path, and the water stood like a wall on each side. That's the only time I think the fish in the sea felt like they were in an aquarium, and they even had an audience. Well, jokes apart, let's get back to the lesson. So the people were able to cross this Red Sea, but not through water, through dry ground. And they literally walked through it. Wow, that must have been such a sight. When all the Israelites had crossed over, God spoke to Moses again. And he said, do the same thing that I asked you to do last time, Moses. And since Moses had seen God at work, Moses was excited. Moses raised his staff and his hand, and the walls of water came down, and the sea came back to where it was. And do you know what? Because of this, all the Israelites were able to cross, and the Egyptian army could not stop them. Well, that is what faith does. Well, some of you have heard this story a million times. I know some of you remember it by heart. You know exactly what happened. But there are two examples that I want you to reflect on today. The first one is the example of knowing how awesome God is, and the second one is examples of people who showed daring faith. I'm sure, as I think about it, the Israelites and Moses they really must have felt afraid. The whole situation in front of them was so scary. They had an Egyptian army chasing them, and they were stuck with nowhere to go. But in the middle of that, God did an amazing thing for them. This is what I want to tell you again. When you have daring faith, even in the middle of a scary situation, you can be courageous. You can be brave because you know that it is through faith that God does for us something that is beyond our imagination. And like Moses, we also can be brave and we can be people who have a lot of courage. Remember what I told you last time. When you have faith, it shows. Faith always shows. Moses chose faith over fear. It is not an easy thing to do. When God sees our daring faith, He comes in that situation and does something that only He can do. Miracles. Today in your small groups, I want you to discuss these three questions. Number one, how did Moses show his faith? Number two, what choice did he have in the situation he was in? And what choice did he make? Number 3. Was it even important for Moses to show his faith? And why? The story of Moses teaches us to choose between fear and faith. We must let go of one in order to get hold of another. When you choose faith over fear, miracles happen. I'm sure you're going to have a great discussion in your small groups today, so tag along with your teacher and your peers, and I'm sure you're going to have a blast talking about our daring faith champion, Moses. Wait. You remember what I have to tell you? Before you go, we can say this together. Just like Moses, I can be brave even when I feel fearful. So that's our lessons for today. I'm going to see you next week with another video, another lesson, and another Daring Faith champion. Bye-bye.